Let me take you on a journey through time to an India that many people today might find hard to imagine. While contemporary media often portrays India through the lens of poverty and underdevelopment, there's a fascinating historical truth that's often overlooked. Before the British invasion in the early 17th century, India was actually the wealthiest nation on earth. Picture this, a land where rivers of silk flowed through bustling markets, where the aroma of exotic spices filled the air, and where magnificent palaces and temples touched the sky. This wasn't a fairy tale, this was India before colonization. The country's wealth was so legendary that it drew traders, travelers, and eventually colonizers from across the globe. During the Mughal Empire's peak, India's economy accounted for almost a quarter of the world's GDP. To put that in perspective, that's equivalent to the combined economic might of several major modern nations. The country's textile industry alone was unparalleled. Indian fabrics were so fine that legend has it a piece of cloth could be pulled through a ring. Cities like Surat, Agra, and Delhi were more prosperous than London or Paris. European travelers wrote home in amazement about India's riches, describing markets overflowing with precious gems, sophisticated banking systems, and advanced agricultural practices that fed millions. But then came the turning point. The British East India Company arrived on Indian shores initially as traders. Gradually, through a combination of military might and political manipulation, they transformed from mere merchants into rulers. What followed was a systematic drainage of India's wealth, a process historians often call the Great Plunder. Raw materials were extracted at low prices and shipped to Britain, where they were transformed into finished goods and sold back to India at premium rates. Traditional industries were deliberately destroyed to create markets for British products. The famous Indian textile industry, once the envy of the world, was systematically dismantled. It's a stark reminder of how colonial exploitation can fundamentally alter a nation's trajectory. The India we see today is still recovering from this historical wound, rebuilding and reclaiming its position on the global stage. But understanding this history is crucial. It reminds us that poverty isn't inherent to any nation, and that current circumstances often have deep historical roots. As India continues its modern journey of development and growth, it's worth remembering that it's not just moving forward. In many ways, it's reclaiming its historical position as one of the world's great economic powers. The story of India isn't just about poverty and development. It's about resilience, revival, and the long arc of history bending back toward prosperity.